Exactly. So I remember working both of these customers back when I was an account executive. I've been with Quadient AP now for about 5 years. So I started off as an SDR, worked up to an account executive, and now I'm a sales manager helping with the rest of the team. But before we jump into some of the questions that we prepared for you, it'd be great if the both of you, as well as Ed from Sage, if you could introduce yourselves. Tania, how about we start with you?
Thank you, Tina. Yeah, I'm Tania Ontiveros. I'm the Director of Corporate Finance and Operations at Elemental Energy. We are located in Vancouver, British Columbia, and we are in the renewable energy industry. We develop, build, and operate renewable energy projects in Canada.
Awesome, great. And Cynthia, how about yourself?
Thank you, Gina. My name is Cynthia Boez. I'm a CPA and the controller for Christian School District, which is a faith-based independent PK through grade 12 school located outside of St. Louis, Missouri, in O'Fallon, Missouri. We have over 600 students and 125 employees and an annual budget of a little over $6 million.
Great, awesome. And then finally, Ed, how about yourself?
I am Ed Kless. I have been at Sage almost 20 years. It'll be 20 years in July. And my role inside Sage is to help our business partners, whether they be our folks on our mid-market solutions or our influencers, accounting firms, make their businesses better. So I like to call myself a meta consultant because I consult for people who do consulting.
Great. Awesome. And Ed, since we have you on the mic, can you let us know what you've seen happening with your customers at Sage and why AP automation is especially important to them in today's business environment?
Sure. I think what's interesting is this is part of a larger trend that we're seeing out there with regard to artificial intelligence and all kinds of things that are happening around it. And I think one of the challenges that people are facing, especially those people in accounting firms, frankly, is a little bit of a fear of, well, am I going to wake up one day and there's going to be a robot in my chair, right? That's going to take over my job. Right. And I was just at a conference where we were talking about this. And one of the things I think is important to observe is that if your job can be completely replaced by a robot, your job kind of sucks. I mean, it was really boring. Right. And I think what the real key is, what I'm really looking forward to, because I've had a chance to hear both of these women tell their fabulous stories, is, and what I'd encourage the audience to listen for is, yeah, it did reduce the amount of time that folks were working on these things, but it also enabled them to do other things. And that's really the key for me. It's not like also, let's get rid of 3 people because we now have AP automation. That was not the case at all. It's completely other. And I just wanted to point that out because I think it's such an important point. That there's really nothing to fear here so much as it's because it's really about what are we going to do with this other, how are we going to apply our human intelligence in a better way when we're not doing the mundane.
Exactly. Yeah. And we hear that all the time too when customers are looking at us, right? Initially, often it starts with the fear, like I'm scared to get my job replaced and things like that. But really we're here to enable you to do more valuable, higher tasks with your time. Exactly. Great. So let's jump into it then. So let's start off just opening up the table to both of you, Tania and Cynthia. What led you to seek out AP automation to begin with? And can you describe some of the pain points that brought you to Sage AP automation? Tania, let's do you first.
Okay, yeah. So I guess due to the nature of our business, we need to create separate Sage 50, I guess, files for our different projects and that we call project entities. So as we were growing, we were having a higher volume of transactions and accounts payable on each different entity. And it was taking a lot of our time just to be able to review the AP listing, go through the approvals. There was a lot of manual work involved. I was, spending a lot of time myself as well reviewing things. So I needed to find a solution in which I could actually consolidate everything in just one place, as opposed to, having to go to different project entity files and exporting an AP list in Excel. So that was kind of the one of the main things. And the second thing was we also wanted to go paperless and try to find better ways of dealing with AP, knowing that, the volume was increasing. We were starting to have more than 100 invoices per month, and it keeps growing. So I needed to find a solution, and I think it was the right time.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, the business is growing, needed a way to better manage all of those projects and companies that you're managing. So finding our tool to help you do that all in one place, along with eliminate some of that paper. Great. And then Cynthia, how about yourself? What led you to seek out the solution?
Well, for us, it was a new executive director who had come in from a large nonprofit, and he came in and was totally amazed that we were still doing everything by hand. And he recognized all of our pain points. He was really the driving force behind going into automation here. And our pain points, like it is in any accounts payable department, is too much paper and handling paper too many times. We were double paying invoices. We were hand entering information. We had lack of consistent approvals. Our executive director was manually signing over 150 checks a month, and he didn't want to spend his time doing that. And we do use the payment automation, which is wonderful. And overall, we just had a confusion and frustration among the staff because, of course, they're teachers. They don't want to learn what a PO process is. And so they were very confused and frustrated. And so those were our pain points.
Right. Yeah. And I love that story because you mentioned your executive director, he was new, he came in, and you guys were doing this day to day. I guess it's hard to, identify those challenges when you're doing it every single day. You don't really notice that, there are more efficient ways to improve that process. So it's great that he came in and helped you, find this automation. Great. All right. Now let's move on to some of the purchase orders and that discussion there. I know that, since we just heard about, what led you to find AP automation, let's talk about how it's changed since then. So Tanya, how has, everything changed since implementing this solution?
So I think I have saved a couple of days per month of my life doing that kind of work. Not only, my time, but my team's time. And then also even like whoever was approving the invoices, they needed to get a printout, go through things. So I think, it has saved a lot of time in general for everyone here. And it's kind of nice to see everything just in one place, online, from my phone. And just be able to have access to it, from anywhere I go.
Yeah, perfect. Exactly. And we say as long as you have Wi-Fi, you're good. You can get connected, get rid of the paper, and stay, do all your work there. Great. And then Cynthia, how about for yourself?
Well, I think for us, the biggest thing now is that employees now understand the AP process a little bit better. Again, they're teachers, they're not accountants, but because it's laid out step by step in Sage APA, so they know exactly what they're filling out. Reduced paper. Sage APA is now our virtual filing cabinet, which is wonderful because our head of school, our principals can go in and look and see things without having to come to a physical place. I love the two-way sync. That is fabulous, and it's a two-way. I love it. I love it. Again, the reduction in manual checks through the AP module. It is just wonderful. Our CFO can just go online, approve the checks. And one really neat thing, Sage APA doesn't allow a question mark for a general ledger code. And, that's pretty huge because before we would get purchase orders and they'd just put a gigantic question mark on it. You can't do that. Your GL has been uploaded into it. And as you can see from where I'm working, the ability to work remotely, I'm in my dining room. This is where I work. I only go into the office once a week. So work-life balance is huge.
Great. Yeah, exactly. And I actually didn't know about that question mark, but that makes sense. So now, and it, like you're saying, it sounds like it's empowering the team, right? Now they have to try to seek out their own solutions. They know exactly what steps to take. Everyone can go in and look for their own invoices. So it's not, coming to bug you at your desk every single day to find out what's happening there. Great. Awesome. Now, I know that you've both implemented the purchase order module as well. So let's start with Tanya, since you've actually added it pretty recently. How do you see the PO module increasing efficiency even more than the improved processing alone?
Yeah, I mean, we're quite fresh there, starting just to use it. I've seen, the efficiency there by, when I get the approvers going in, looking at the invoice that they have to approve, and now it's kind of nice and easy that they can actually see the PO that is related to that specific invoice, so they can just go into that same place and say, okay, this is an invoice, and this is a PO that has already been approved, and let's make sure that it's within budget, and it just makes it a lot easier for them to go ahead and approve the invoices. Is helping us as well on the accounting side, because then, as accountants, we have to work with month-end accruals and things like that. So if everything is just in one place, we can just go in and know exactly what's coming and start asking, the right questions to the team members as to, okay, has his work been done, and things like that. So it has, helped us to be more efficient with respect to our month-end financial statement preparation as well. And and also I think the approvers are happy with that they can just go in and find the PO, find the invoice in Sage APA.
Right. Yeah. So again, back to that theme of the visibility, it sounds like, right? Everyone has access to it. They can see the invoice, purchase order all side by side, and then just having that one place to work on everything. Exactly. Great. And then Cynthia, I know you've been using the PO module for a while now. You've had a great idea to take some legwork and complexity out of the process. Can you describe project purchase order for us?
Okay, project purchase orders is a neat little thing that we came up with, because as a school, we have many projects and events, graduation, prom, homecoming, parent, all sorts of things. And it was really too cumbersome for our staff to complete a vendor purchase order where they actually put in the vendor name for every expense that they had. And many times they didn't even know what those vendors were going to be. The principals were having to approve way too many purchase orders and couldn't see the big picture. So we created a vendor in Sage 50 called Project Purchase Order, synced it over, and they are allowed then to use that and fill it out for the project. So some of you may be using standing or blanket purchase orders, and those are for a specific vendor. Our project purchase order is for a whole project. So they can get their entire project approved. Then as the invoices start coming in on the invoice side or the expense reimbursements, however it works, all we need is to be able to do a very quick search under purchase order for graduation, homecoming. It'll pull it up. We can do adopt the PO coding right there on the screen, and then go up and change project purchase order to the actual vendor, submit it, and move it through. It has saved us so much frustration, angst, and a few tears.
Good. We don't want the tears. That's awesome. So project purchase order, and it sounds like, this could be really easily implemented across multiple different companies and other, customers that are listening today. That's a great idea, especially if you're managing multiple events, like you said. Graduations, who's handling the food, who's doing the decor. We don't know at that point necessarily. So by having that, blanket or that project purchase order as the vendor, I can see how that can definitely help in those scenarios. All right. Now we've talked, Tania, you've talked to us about, Sage AP Automation and how that has brought the entire accounts payable process into one single place. Can you talk about how that consolidation helps your team and department function more smoothly, and what kind of additional tasks or projects you're able to take on with that time saved?
Yeah, as I mentioned, our business has been growing very fast. So we were spending a lot of time going through the AP process, a lot of manual work, and we were ignoring some other things that required our attention that were more important. I could list a lot of them, but I think just by reducing that time that we're spending working on AP every 2 weeks, we've been able to just work and focus in other areas that we were ignoring, and we were just kind of letting them stay in the back border and then waiting to get to them after. So it has helped us with that. And I think overall, as I mentioned earlier, I think getting all the team involved. We're not a very big team. We're about 12, 13 people in total, including the development, construction, operations team. So it's been nice to get them, involved as part of our AP process, because they can go in, look for stuff themselves, as Cynthia mentioned. That helps the accounting team a lot when you can say, you can search for it on Sage APA and it will be right there for you. So it helps a lot, to make sure that everyone feels that they're part of that AP process, because at the end of the day, they're going to have to approve invoices. They're going to have to even sometimes talk to the consultant they're working with, just to kind of understand budgets and things like that. So I think in general, it has helped us a lot. And even we used to remind them every day or two to get them to approve invoices. Now the system does the daily reminders as well. So it's just kind of helpful to have that as well.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, we talked, like Cynthia mentioned too, how this ties back together with that empowering of the team, right? It's kind of making sure that the tasks are shared across everyone, not just the accounting team yourselves. So it's great to hear that it's been able to help with that. And then also be able to refocus your time on some more valuable tasks that, maybe you're pushing back on the back burner a little bit because you're kind of working on all of the AP things. Now, for Cynthia, it sounds like AP automation has been one piece of a larger move to embracing automation and technology across the whole back office. Can you describe how your team has embraced automation at large and how AP automation might have influenced this mindset?
Well, for us, we went from a lack of automation to lots of automation very quickly. And I have to admit, because Sage APA was an easy implement, and we didn't have a lot of hiccups, the training was easy, and we were able to roll it out to the staff very, very quickly, and they picked up on it easier. So when we then wanted to roll out a HR automation, we had the success to say, look how great this was. This is going to be even better. And so we were able to get the HR automation, which has saved us a lot of time, because we're getting rid of paper, and we're able to do everything and have a portal for the employees to go through. And because now everything is interconnected, and now I have time to work on, let's do the overhaul of the general ledger that hasn't been for a decade, and let's look at budgeting. And we are now looking at actually upgrading to a cloud-based accounting system, of course, that will integrate with Sage APA.
Right. Yeah. And I love that, how it sounded like our system really helped ignite that flame and excitement that, automation isn't so bad. Because I know, again, going back to that fear, sometimes people are a little worrisome, how is this really going to take over my job, or, those kind of thoughts. So it's exciting to hear that they're now excited about other solutions and opening up, being more open to taking in those as well. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Now, one of the things we love to hear from people we work with is how the tools we provide help the finance team to not only improve their processes, but leverage those processes to create organizational impact. Can each of you describe a way your team has been able to help the organization since implementing AP automation? Tania, back to you.
Yeah, I think it just in general, the fact that, everything is in one place has helped everyone to be able to have access to one platform and not deal with paper. That's one of the biggest things. And as a renewable energy company, of course, we want to go green as much as we can not only, by building renewable energy projects, but also in the office space too, right? So that was one of the biggest things that we were able to accomplish. And not only with AP, but a bunch of other things too. So I can say that we're 99% paperless now in general. So that makes me very, very, very happy here. At the same time, we can, work remotely from, anywhere in the world. I get to go to visit my family in Mexico and work from there like 2-3 weeks. And then I know that I can get my work done down there. So that's also a really, really nice bonus there. that we got. And as I said, just like by making sure that the team that is, outside of the accounting team can get involved in our AP processes, that's actually very exciting for us. And little by little, they're getting more familiar with things. They're getting more efficient as well when it comes to approving their invoices. And now that we added a PO platform, I expect that we're going to see a lot more efficiencies as we start issuing those POs and getting those, I guess, invoices that are going to be matched to the POs. We just started that PO platform in March, so I think I'm going to get to see the benefits in the next couple of months.
Great. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, based on even Cynthia's story and how that's helped her, the PO process with her team, I'm sure that would, venture out to the other teams as well. It's great that we're able to support you in, working remotely. Like you said, you can go down to Mexico, visit your family, and it's great because, again, as long as you have internet connection, you're able to do your work really from anywhere, and it goes back to that work-life balance that we were talking about earlier too. Now, Cynthia, how about yourself? How is, can you describe a way your team has been able to help the organization since implementing AP automation?
Well, I totally agree with Tania. Work-life balance is great. I'm a grandma. I get to spend time with my grandchildren a little bit more because AP is not coming home in a box of paper. I'm taking care of elderly parents. This is really allowing me to set my work life as I need to balance the journey of life. Now, as a school, we will never go completely green because we have teachers and handouts. But I can actually say that in our business office, we went from 2 to 3 file cabinets down to 1 drawer for AP. So that is huge. And I, again, not bringing home banker's boxes full of paper to do work. The really big success is we don't get these phone calls or emails that say, can you pull this document for us? Can you get this? Can you make a copy of this? Has this been paid? Now, we still get a few of those, but they can go on into the system and look. So I'm going to tell you, my emails have gone way down because I'm not dealing with all of this. We have guided people to where to get the information, and that is huge because I don't like answering emails. I really don't. I'm old. I don't like that. But the biggest thing for us was the state grants that we had for COVID. We were getting state EANS money, and we had a grant manager. It was just one of the school counselors, and she was in charge of submitting all of this, all these documents. Of course, they wanted it electronically. Well, it was so simple. We taught her how to find the information in Sage APA, and it was so simple because we actually set up a GL for all of the EANS money, and she was able to go in and do the sort. And so for anyone who's using grants, getting grant money, Sage AP really saves you a lot of time.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. And again, just allowing the employees to go in there and find whatever they need to instead of bugging you. I'm sure they hate flooding your emails too, as much as you hated receiving them. Now it's a little clearer and you don't have to bring home boxes. So that's awesome to hear. Great. Now, Ed, any final thoughts from you after sitting in on this discussion today?
Well, who would have thought that AP automation equals more time with grandchildren? I mean, so that this is one of the great. I was honored and inspired by the stories that you guys were telling. I mean, and the creativity that you've applied to the software that Sage AP Automation has by creating new stuff that even we didn't even think of when we were designing the system. Right. So, I mean, I think that's just fantastic. And the other thing that I heard too, Cynthia, I think it was from you, is no, I'm sorry, it was Tania. A potential for additional growth without increasing costs too. I mean, that's the other side of this. But really, it's just great to hear these stories and making people's lives better. When it's not just about AP automation, it's about making people's lives better, and that's what I heard from both of you. So, thanks for letting me sit in on this. This is great.